Remember the time where I told you eating no carbs and eating really high fat is gonna give you like better gains? Yeah, that's all bullshit because this is the actual truth that I've learned about carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are just literal energy, glucose, and when you have an excess of energy, it gets stored into fat. But when you're metabolically healthy, when you're high, when your insulin sensitivity is high, when you're just healthy overall, the carbs that you do ingest, insulin rises, and that insulin makes the carbs like stored into the muscle and in the form of glycogen. What is glycogen? Glycogen is a polymer. What's the monomer of the glycogen? Like, what's the single unit of the glycogen? It's called glucose. So when glucose molecules just come together and form a really long chain, it's called glycogen and it's stored in the muscle and it binds with water. So if you eat more carbs, you get more glycogen storage in the muscle. Since you have more glycogen storage in the muscles, it binds with the water in the muscle and makes your muscles appear bigger. When your muscles are bigger, you train harder in the gym because you just have more energy. When you train harder in the gym, you get more muscle growth, more hypertrophy, more stimulus to growth, and you'll just fucking grow more. And since your muscles look massive from the glycogen and the water retention and the creatine you're taking, you just look better, bigger and better. So if your biggest goal in life is to build a 10 out of 10 physique like mine is, and to teach other people how to build a 10 out of 10 physique, eating high carb diets will benefit you because I said so. The ideal macros for this would be 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight because that's the amount of protein that you need to build muscle. Second is having as less fats as possible. Okay, because what I mean by less fats is like having 0.3 grams of fat per pound of body weight, per pound of lean muscle mass. So if you want to be like 80, if you want to be 80 kilograms but you're 88, you convert 80 kilograms to pounds, and that's the amount of protein that you want to eat, and you multiply that number by 0.3 and that's the amount of fats you want to eat. But if that amount of fats is really fucking low for you, like it's like 40 grams or something, you just make it up to like 60 grams of fat maximum, and the rest will be carbs. So what ends up happening is like you'll have like 300 to 400 grams of carbs. Like this is why bodybuilders eat like 600 to fucking 900 grams of carb every single day, because it gives them limitless energy, unlimited glycogen storage, and a lot of fucking really good workouts. So if your aim is to build the best fucking physique possible, eat a lot of carbs. I'm right now doing 350 grams because I want to cut down further, but ideally I would be on like 500 to 600 grams carbs, and it helps me give the fucking energy and like just do the amount of work that is required to build the physique. When you have high carb diets, you feel like a fucking child again. You feel like running everywhere you want to go. Like I just dropped someone off like to the station and I just came fucking running to the house, because that's the amount of energy that I have, and I'm like speaking really fast and I'm fucking present and I'm talking to the camera like I'm talking to a person. That's the energy that carbs give you, like high carb energy. That's what I'm gonna call. When you increase the amount of carbs you're eating, your cortisol in your body will be reduced down, because carbs have the effect of like sedating me at least, and usually it just puts you into a mode of feed and breed or rest and digest rather than flight or fright. So carbs help you do that. And when you have lower levels of cortisol, you will have more testosterone. Duh. But since you're not eating as much fat as possible, you're not going to have the highest levels of testosterone because you're sacrificing fat for more carbs. Okay. Since you don't have like, you'll have to like, okay, so I just saw a reel by Clavicular, the looks maxing guy, and he says that you gotta like sacrifice 50 to 100 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone in your body for more carbs, for more growth, for more muscle growth, and for more athletic performance. So if getting the basic and looking as big as possible, being as muscular as possible is your biggest goal in life, like it is for me, I would say just go high carb. And don't trust the fucking bodybuilders that tell you that, oh, you gotta have really high protein if you want to cut down to a good body fat percentage. They're basically trying to sell you like protein powders. Like Mike Mensa back in the day would do this, like he would do 60% of his diet, his calorie intake would be carbs, 35 would be protein, and the rest is like just fats for his own hormones. So if you want to get as jacked as possible, increase the amount of carbs you're eating. Make it like fucking 300 minimum, 300 grams per day minimum. and that's a lot of fucking rice, there's a lot of potatoes, and that's gonna help you get the energy out in the gym. So this is what I do, right? Couple hours before the gym, I want to have a meal that's high in complex carbs. Complex carbs are basically glycogen. Okay, you're just eating glycogen that gets broken down by your body into glucose, then gets stored in the form of glucose in your muscle. Okay, so complex carbs are rice, potatoes. Yeah, rice, potatoes. Those are really good complex carbs. And simple carbs you have right before your workout. And when simple carbs hit your blood, it gets converted into glucose straight away and increases, like just spikes your insulin and glucose in your blood, and that gives you fast energy and that helps you in your workouts, right? So before my workout, I'll just have a cup of coffee and I'll put a lot of fucking honey in there, like tablespoons of honey. You know, this is what like elite athletes do to have best fucking performances. They have a cup of coffee, they put a lot of honey in there, you mix it and drink it. So complex carbs good when they're away from the workouts. Simple carbs like sugars, fruit sugars, and I would even go as far to say, like, you get those biscuits, right? Those sugary biscuits that your mom has with tea. Yeah, take those to the fucking gym and eat those in between your sets to give you fucking energy. That's what I'm doing right now. I get fucking tea biscuits and I take them to the gym and I'm eating them in between sets, and that gives me the energy, the drive to like go harder in the next set. My gym performance has really fucking increased and I get really good fucking pumps because of it. You don't need the fucking amount of supplements that I was taking, right? I was taking like magnesium for recovery, I was taking ashwagandha for recovery. I've cut out most of them. Why? Because there's nothing as good as just having a high carb diet for athletic performance. Everything else just pales. If you want to go to bed and wake up really refreshed, have a high carb diet, because in your sleep your body is going to repair itself. And there was a study that said if you delay your carb intake by just 3 hours after your workout, the workout in the next day is going to be worse basically. So there isn't a basic protein anabolic window. I would say there's a basic carb anabolic window. Just get your carbs in from time to time, and the amount of carbs that is, like, you have calculated it, right? You're not eating like a child, just whatever. You eating the calculated amount of carbs, you're getting in the protein, and you're getting some fats for your hormones. You're basically set. You just got to follow that diet for a couple months and you begin to see results. I'm just seeing results right now by just increasing the amount of carbs. My body is basically I'm doing a recomp basically. I'm burning more fat and building more muscle at the same time. And yeah, that's what I have for this video. Thanks for watching.